see the falls from the air for a long time, but it never worked out previously. So this time it will. No drone, nothing like that. I want to see it with my own eyes from bird's eye perspective. And no, I don't want to fly to the local airport and look down, hoping that I will catch a glimpse. I want to be sure. So the plan is to board a helicopter. So, let's do it and let's go for a ride. And here it is, still in some distance, the smoke that thunders, as locals used to call it. And it is a spectacular point of view. The Zambezi is the fourth longest river in Africa after the Nile, Congo and Niger rivers. It is the longest east-flowing river in Africa. It flows through 6 countries on its journey from its source in northeastern Zambia, or northwestern Zambia I should say, to the Indian Ocean, an amazing 2,700 kilometers. And as we circle the falls, you can see the white cloud above. That's where the water falls, creating something that resembles smoke. That is water, of course, accompanied by thunder. But it is impossible to hear in the helicopter, but you cannot not hear it when you are there up close and personal walking around. Victoria Falls is one of nature's intricate mysteries and features several principal gorges. These are the first, second, third, fourth and fifth gorge. Quite imaginative names. But wait, there is one that is called the Songwe Gorge, named after the Songwe River, flowing in from the northeast. And if you look, you will see, or you will notice how wide the Zambezi River is just above the Victoria Falls. And below you see that narrow opening in the rock, and that's where the gorges are. So just imagine that much water has to squeeze through this narrow entrance. So that's what creates all that white quote-unquote smoke and all that thunder. But eventually our flight comes to an end. We just circle a couple more times and go back to the helipad. I would say it was definitely worth it. From what I have seen, everyone else who took the ride was quite happy that they did it, and it's quite understandable. It's very, very unique. Below me is Zambezi River. Here is Zimbabwe. And at the end of the bridge is kind of a place between the two countries, no man's land, so to speak. And on the left you can see the mist is Victoria Falls. It's pretty deep. And here is a bungee jumping place in case you need some adrenaline rush. And no, I didn't try it. I prefer something, how should I put it? Something where I can have at least an illusion that I can control my destiny. And entering Zambia right now. And that's exactly what I did years ago. On my first visit to Vic Falls, I took a white water rafting trip. It is dangerous and foolhardy to swim in the Zambezi River. There are crocodiles, hippos and sharp rocks, not to mention very rapid waters at grade 5. And I did swim there, but not voluntarily. No one will make it through without the raft flipping. And sure enough, it happened to us, even though we had a good local guide. But he was ejected from his position and some seconds later we flipped. But no raft made it through without flipping. most of them flipped multiple times. But everyone survived, no harm done, all fun. The bridge is constructed from steel and it carries a road, a railway and pedestrians, and I'm pretty sure you can bicycle there too, or ride a horse or a donkey, if it is your preferred mode of transportation. So truly multi-purpose bridge. It is the only rail link between Zambia and Zimbabwe and one of only 3 road links between the two countries. The bridge was the brainchild of Cecil Rhodes. He and his British South Africa Company founded the Southern African Territory of Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe and Zambia, which the company named after him in 1895. The bridge was prefabricated in England, by the way, in a ship to Portuguese route Mozambique, and then transported on the newly constructed railway to the Victoria Falls. It took just 14 months to construct and was completed in 1905. I cannot imagine that any bridge nowadays in any country could be constructed in 14 months. They wouldn't even have the paperwork and permits ready in 14 months, I bet. And an interesting tidbit is that the bridge was officially opened by Professor Sir George Darwin. Does it ring a bell? Of course it does. Son of Charles Darwin, and the American Society of Civil Engineers has designated the bridge as an International Historic Civil Engineering Landmark. A mouthful. It deserves it, I think. And there are great views of the big falls. And this is not wind, the noise, by the way. That's from the falling water. The giant, noisy, breathtaking spectacle. The river Zambezi flowing down from the mountains of Angola and Zambia, past jungles and forests, fed by numerous tributaries, throws itself at this point between the countries Zambia and Zimbabwe abruptly more than 100 meters down and startling the first-time visitors with noise and falling wall of water. This unbelievable spectacle is called Victoria Falls, of course. It is neither the widest nor highest waterfall in the world, but it is the world's largest sheet of falling water. It is 2 times higher than North America's Niagara Falls and is only rivaled by Iguazu Falls in South America. So let's go and see the falls up close and personal. Imagine how Scottish missionary David Livingstone felt when he arrived here in 1855. Of course, he did not discover the falls. Local people have known them for thousands of years. The local Batonga people had named them the smoke that thunders. Livingstone named them for his queen, Victoria. In the 19th century, the falls were unknown to Europeans, and we have some information from Livingstone himself what he thought when he saw this lush green place in a fairly arid area, when he heard the thunder, and most of all when he saw this gigantic wall of water never before seen by Europeans. As he wrote in his diary, "Scenes so lovely they must have been gazed upon by angels in their flight." He added, "No one can imagine the beauty of this view from anything witnessed in England. And even now, when you see the falls, you cannot be but impressed of how magnificent work of nature this is. With scale, drama, power and beauty, it is easy to see why the Victoria Falls has been accredited as one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. Such an awe-inspiring experience, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to observe one of our world's most precious areas of natural magnificence." Roughly 1 million people visit the falls each year. Well, that is if there is no pandemic. Unlike the game parks, Victoria Falls has more Zimbabwean and Zambian visitors than international tourists. It is accessible by bus and train and is therefore comparatively inexpensive to reach. But, by the way, the ticket for international visitors is $50. Residents pay just $10, but even that is quite expensive, I think, for local people. And tourists from neighboring countries pay, I think, $30. Zimbabwe's per capita GDP is only $600 per year, the third lowest in the world, and the household income for most Zimbabweans is less than $100 per month. Where the money goes that they charge for you to see the falls, I have no idea, since there is only one entry gate with turnstile, a gift shop, and some plain benches along the path. A couple of toilets, pretty clean by the way, and a restaurant or two. Definitely not expensive to build and maintain. And yes, there is a fence so people cannot get in for free. As I mentioned earlier, Victoria Falls is shared by two countries, Zambia to the north and Zimbabwe to the south. The waterfall stands at an altitude of about 950 meters above mean sea level and spans to about 1,700 meters, which is more than 1 mile wide, and the average depth is 100 meters. Sprays from this giant waterfall can be seen from a distance of 30 kilometers from the Lusaka Road, Zambia, and 50 kilometers from Bulawayo Road, Zimbabwe. Depending on the season, 500 million liters of water cascade every minute. The numbers almost seem too impossible to imagine. That's the equivalent of 200 Olympic-sized swimming pools to put things into perspective. It flows at the rate of 1100 cubic meters per second. On the Zimbabwe side of the falls, you will find the Victoria Falls rainforest, which is the only place on earth to see rain every single day of the year. The rains bless the area with lush greenery in the forest. You can see everywhere green, green, green. And you can even rent or purchase a raincoat in front of the entrance. Enterprising locals are trying to provide anything visitors may need. So I do hope you like the video. I think this will be it for today. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time. Goodbye.